is, running it down on these niggas.
Sex, drugs, money, and murder, my nigga. You know how we get it, my nigga. Still be painting them bitches, my nigga. Ripping that roll, fucking your bitches. Sex, drugs, money, and murder. 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 Niggas, they never will hurt you. Niggas, they never will hurt you. Sex, drugs, money, and murder. Sex, drugs, money, and murder.
Got the tracks right, understand how to get that. Ran down on them niggas with a flip back, new and
The jury in the Derek Chauvin trial came to a unanimous and unequivocal verdict this afternoon. Please don't hurt us. The jurors spoke for many in this country. Everyone understood perfectly well the consequences of an acquittal in this case. After nearly a year of burning and looting and murder by BLM, that was never in doubt. Last night, 2,000 miles from Minneapolis, police in Los Angeles preemptively blocked roads. Why? They knew what would happen if Derek Chauvin got off. In the end, he didn't get off. If given the maximum sentence under the law, he will spend the rest of his life in prison. Is that a fair punishment? Is the officer guilty of the specific crimes for which he was just convicted? We can debate all that, and over this hour we will. But here's what we can't debate. No mob has the right to destroy our cities. Not under any circumstances, not for any reason. No politician or media figure has the right to intimidate a jury. And no political party has the right to impose a different standard of justice on its own supporters. Those things are unacceptable in America. All of them are happening now. If they continue to happen, decent, productive people will leave. The country as we knew it will be over. So we must stop this current insanity. It's an attack on civilization. At stake is far more than the future of Derek Chauvin or the memory of George Floyd. At stake is America. So before we consider the details of today's verdict, a bigger question, one we should all think about. Can we trust the way this decision was made? That's the promise of our justice system, that it's impartial, that it's as fair as human beings can make it, that the cop who killed Ashley Babbitt will be held to the very same scrutiny as the cop who was just convicted of killing George Floyd, that political or ethnic considerations will play absolutely no role in jury deliberations, that justice will be blind. Can we say all of that in this case? And if we can't, why can't we?
Derek Chauvin trial. Yesterday, if you listen to the closing arguments, both were compelling. However, as I'm watching the closing arguments, the thing that I kept thinking of is, why didn't Derek Chauvin testify? Everything his defense lawyer was saying would have been much more impactful had Derek Chauvin testified. And then the blockbuster thing that came out of the judge's mouth yesterday is his belief. Think about that. A trial court judge saying, well, you might have a winning issue on appeal in light of what Maxine Waters said. Because Maxine Waters saying we're going to have to get more confrontational if there's not a not guilty free is jury tampering. That jury is not sequestered, which means they're not huddled up in a hotel somewhere. That jury is out and about every single day, not sequestered. So although they're told not to watch, see, and hear, sometimes it's impossible to accidentally. So it's going to be interesting what the jury does. But remember, they are going to riot no matter what. It isn't going to make any difference. We'll see if the verdict is going. By the way, generally, a quick verdict generally means good things for the defense. Longer verdict, you kind of think, well, maybe you got a chance. Maybe things are, but it'll be very interesting to see what happens.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Bulletz Gotti. I'm about to go live, but before I go live, cause I'm doing a late night live stream, right? And I'm gonna be talking about these hating ass niggas. But this video right here is basically talk about this Derek Chauvin case. The Kim Carter situation in Minnesota and all this whole Minnesota thing, right? And how I feel about it, and in my opinion. And I'm gonna be real honest with you. He was only found guilty because Maxine Waters threatened a riot in the city. Let's be real. I feel like he would have never been found guilty. I feel like the case really didn't have reasonable doubt evidence that he killed him. And what I mean is he had drugs in his system. Not the saying that the knee to the neck didn't result in his death. Not to say that, but they just couldn't prove it on a reasonable doubt thing. And this is why I say that he may get an appeal and he may beat the appeal and probably will get acquitted. Or it'll be another mistrial because I could sense an appeal coming in this Derek Chauvin's case. Because if you really watch what Maxine Waters said in her interview, where she actually was talking about basically, rioting and just subliminally was talking about it'll be a riot, an uproar, or uprising if he was found not guilty. Now, personally, they was going for a mistrial. They weren't going for a guilty verdict. I felt that the last minute they was pressured into doing a guilty verdict because they were threatening to riot in Minnesota. So that's why the guilty verdict happened. Now, I want to talk about the Kim Potter case and other cases with other 3 cops. Now, I don't know if the case with the other 3 cops is going to happen. Now, in my opinion, if it does happen, those 3 cops will be acquitted. They are not going to face no time. They are not going to be charged. They are going to be acquitted in their case. I see that coming. I can see the acquittal coming for them. They're going to let this shit die down, and then they're going to acquit those 3 cops. They might dismiss their case and all that, dismiss the charges slowly, and basically, they got to put somebody in there. Now, me personally, I don't think he'll be facing no 40 years, no 50 years, not even 30 years. I think he'll be facing 10, maybe 8, or maybe 9 years in prison. Not going to be 30, not going to be 20, not going to be 40. It's going to be 10 or 8 years in prison. I'm telling you that right now. Bulletz Gotti's telling you that right now. He's not going to face 40 years in prison. Because at the end of the day, I'm a realistic person. And I peep game. Now, talking about the situation with Kim Potter, her case. Now, Kim Potter, her case, to be honest, to be really honest and realistic and being realistic with y'all about that case, Kim Potter is going to be acquitted. And I'm going to tell you why she's going to be acquitted. Because what they're going to do is, the kid got a gun case, right? He ran from the police not to face the warrant of the gun case. So what they're going to do is, he got a gun case. They're not going to talk about the air freshener or whatever else, the weed, the air freshener, whatever else they were looking for him for. They're not going to talk about that. They are going to specifically talk about the gun case and whatever else he has done. They're going to circle in on dude. And when they do, he's going to be acquitted. He's going to be acquitted. She's going to be acquitted. Yeah, she's going to be acquitted. And I can see she's going to be acquitted because the resisting arrest and him basically taking off, driving off, and actually not going in with the cops. They not going, I'm going to be honest with you, they not going to give them no not guilty verdict. I'm sorry. So like I was saying it's like 99% of what the people want, it's not going to happen. To be honest with y'all, like, I'll give you a perfect example, like the Laquan McDonald case, right? All of a sudden that case got found guilty, right? But here's the crux to the shit. He was found guilty, but he was later given a reduced sentence of 4 years in prison. So, like I said, with the Laquan McDonald, whatever case it is, these cases are not going to be what the general public wants. So, at the end of the day, right, Derek Chauvin may face 6 years and 81 months in prison, which is 6 years. Like how the officer in the Laquan McDonald case face 6 years in prison. You know, to be honest, you know, people try to act like and say, "Oh, he may get 40 years." No, he in my opinion, he's not getting 40 years. Derek Chauvin is not getting 40 years in prison. So we need to stop that. Black people need to be real with themselves. They need to be real with themselves. Okay? You know, police killings, to be honest, when you don't got no ownership in this country and the laws say that you're a second-class citizen, you know, really and truly, how do you see yourself basically getting the same justice as everybody else? Now, everybody's clapping and saying, "Oh yeah, he got, you know, he's about to get 40 years in prison." He may not even get that much of time. He may get less than that. So like I said, they only found him guilty, in my opinion. He was only found guilty. And it's the true facts. He only was found guilty because, and just realize it like this, he was found guilty because the media, the press, and basically the whole propaganda of being a riot in the city. That's why he was found guilty. Be honest, if none of that was said, I don't think any of these people would have been mad. So, to be honest, you know, they found him guilty because basically they just wanted to get the case over with. And actually, they were going to have a mistrial. You just look at it, it was going to be a mistrial. What saved the case, and I still say this right now, I'm saying it right now, watching it, what saved the case from going to a mistrial or an acquittal was that Maxine Waters got on TV and said that it's going to be a riot out here in Minnesota. So, to stop a riot from happening in the city of Minnesota, they had to convict the officer and give him a guilty. Now, like I said, this is how they going to play it. Yes, he was found guilty. Yes. But who's to say he's going to get 40 years in prison? Like all these people been saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen, you know, cases where the cops didn't get 40 years in prison. He got less. So, he's not getting 40 years in prison. He probably will get 10, 8, 6, 5, or maybe 4, or maybe 3, or maybe 2 years in prison. That's what's going to happen. It's not going to be no 40 years. And like I said, the only reason why he was found guilty was because they was going to riot and loot in Minnesota. And they didn't want another riot. So they got to make it cool down. So when the next cases come up, they don't know nothing about it. And the other cops is acquitted. And basically, the Kim Potter cop, she'll be acquitted. And that's how it's going to play. And I'm telling you some facts. I know that's how it goes. Sad to say, that's what happens. You know? I remember when Trayvon Martin case happened, right? They had another case that was like kind of similar to Trayvon Martin. And it was in Florida. This white man, he shot and killed this dude. He was blasting the music. Young guy, I can't forget his name. But he shot him in the car. And when he shot him and killed him, you know, he thought he was going to beat the case like George Zimmerman did. But the thing was, it didn't work in his favor. Like George Zimmerman, it worked in George Zimmerman's favor. And a lot of these cases, you got to understand, all of them, yes, you may get one guilty case where they might find the cop guilty and lock him up. But you got a lot of cases where you don't find the cop guilty and they don't lock him up. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, a lot of cases, they beating them, and that's how it is. I watched criminal law my whole life on TV. I was a big court TV watcher. And one thing I learned from watching a lot of court TV cases, you need reasonable doubt evidence. A lot of these cases, some, they have great reasonable doubt evidence. A lot, they don't. It hangs in the balance, so you don't know which way it's going to go. In this case, it was politicized all over the TV. And not only that, they basically just wanted to shut the people up in Minnesota. So they had to convict them. They didn't want to do what they did in the Philando Castillo case, which they probably would have did what they did in the Philando Castillo case, which the cop was acquitted in that case. He was acquitted, and that was in Minnesota. There was another case right after his where the cop was found guilty. So, like I said, man, they do it one case, they'll acquit you, and in the next case they won't acquit you. They'll make you become guilty. It hangs in the balance. But in this case, because of the pressure of motherfuckers saying they was gonna riot, people saying they was gonna riot in the city, they had to come up with that guilty verdict. That's it. I'm being honest with y'all.